1840 community, and welcome back. For those of you tuning in for the first time, this is a community that's built on healthy aging with the help of Korean skincare products, clean alternatives, and health supplements. In today's video, I wanted to explore the concept of fermentation and how this helps benefit our skin when certain ingredients are fermented and put into our skincare products. I will take you through some of my favorite Korean essences, and I've also found a clean alternative recently that's been working really well. And because the skin is a mirror of what's going on internally, I also think it's worthwhile to consider certain fermented foods and incorporating that into our meals. It's like Korean kimchi. That's the one that I know the most about because I've been eating it since I was a child. So let's take a look at some of my favorite fermented ingredients in skincare. It was about 2013 when I was in Korea and I first started seeing the light towards fermented ingredients. One of the brands that I really loved is Cosrx. They came out with this product which is called the Galactomyces 95, and the name denotes that 95% of its ingredients is this fermented Galactomyces. What Galactomyces is that it's a form of fermented yeast that's found in sake. And when the sake workers and farmers who were touching the fermented yeast on a daily basis, they noticed that their hands were looking a lot more youthful than the rest of their body. And so skincare manufacturers got the idea, hey, how about if we bottle this into a power essence? And because this essence contains 95% concentrate of Galactomyces, it's really high on the fermented scale. You would think that it has a smell, but it doesn't. It's fairly clear. The fragrance is not noticeable, and it actually looks a little bit like a thicker water. So it's very thin and lightweight. So you take about 3 or 4 pumps, being really generous, and then you just tap it onto your face like this, focusing on the areas where you have hyperpigmentation, particular dryness. For me, it's the cheeks. So I just firmly pat it into my skin and then my neck to make sure that it gets fully absorbed. This is a really good product to start off with, especially for individuals who have acne troubles by wearing the medical mask all day, like this area here. And I found it to be really effective when used right as a first step after washing my face, and then you apply a toner afterwards. The other Korean product that I absolutely grown to love is the Missha Time Revolution. And this is a particular product that has been in the beauty bloggers' blogs and discussions for quite some time. I have the 3rd generation one. This is the Intensive Moist. And the main ingredient here that's fermented is the purple barley from the Himalayas. The effect of the purple barley is to promote that clarity and brightness of your skin. So when I started dabbling into combating hyperpigmentation, this along with vitamin C has proven to be a really great combination for me. I like the fact that it has 90% fermented ingredients, and it's also a product that has a lot of history and heritage. So it was one of the first generation products that started including fermented ingredients. Again, this is an essence, so it should be used as the very first step to prep the skin right after cleansing, for then applying the toner and then the serum. So for me, I found that this worked really well, and I've been using this since 2017, so for about 4 years now. It has a watery texture, even more so watery than this one, and because of its liquidy consistency, I apply this one onto my palms. See, it's pretty runny, it's running down my arm, but what I do is, again, I pat it into my cheeks first, and then my forehead, my nose, and then I do a second helping to focus on the neck. And this one is pretty refreshing. It's not sticky at all, and so this is something that I found it very easy to incorporate into my skincare. In addition to the purple barley, the second ingredient that I found to be really powerful is the niacinamide. And niacinamide is a nutrient that helps with the firming and toning of the skin, a product that is a multitasker, and because I'm so loyal to it, I find that even if I use it year over year, I'm still seeing pretty consistent results. Missha has come out with the 4th generation of the Time Revolution essence, and the 4th generation is slightly different in the process as well as the ingredients. So the process is a double fermentation. So it goes through a hot and then a cold extraction process, which allows for more enzymes to be extracted and allowing for better absorption into the skin and the pores, so it goes deeper within. The ingredients include a cica extract. You may be familiar with cica as being a calming agent. For those of you who have flare-ups, acne, or any other troubles on your skin, you may want to try the 4th generation in order to calm down the skin, to give it a soothing effect and also minimize and shrink those pores. The 4th generation also contains rice, which is a brightening agent. And so the 4th generation has gotten very, very good reviews. It's also available in the links below to Canadians at a very, very reasonable price. There are a lot of other Korean ingredients with fermented ingredients. For example, the Neogen Real Ferment Essence is one that's gotten particularly great reviews. I haven't tried that one yet, but it contains fermented water. Another Korean brand that's been very buzzworthy is the SK2 essence. This one is a very high-end luxury brand. It retails for about $120 Canadian, and you can find that at Sephora. I haven't taken the jump to the SK2 just because from my friends' experience, they've been telling me that they don't really notice significant results from it. And I find that products like these, which are a fraction of the SK2 price, also contain similar fermented ingredients. And they are very effective in combating the skincare concerns that I have. So it's worked well for me. The clean alternative product that I've discovered is the Beautycounter Countertime Mineral Boost Essence. This is a really great product. I've been using it for about 3 months in the morning right after my face wash, and I found that my skin is feeling a lot more supple, elastic, and refreshed from deep within. So hydration is always a focus for me because dryness can lead to fine lines, and so I found that this product was really, really effective. It contains a number of ingredients. The first one is the fermented sugar, and this is an effective ingredient because it allows for, again, that high absorption. It also contains Bakuchiol. I can't pronounce it properly, but I will write it in the description below. But this is a natural form of retinol, which helps with the elasticity and cell turnover. And so this essence, along with other products within the Countertime line, contain that Bakuchiol, or whatever it's called, Bakuchiol. This one does have a scent, and it's made with Swiss rose. The scent is just so faint, but it's very, very pleasant. When I put it onto my skin, it has a bit of a milky texture. So it's not completely watery, but it's not as thick as a serum would be. So again, you would just use the same patting motion and pat it into the areas where you feel concerned first, and then distribute it across, even to the neck. That smells so nice. With any of these products, I found that the overall result was a better hydrated skin, especially when I'm exposed to artificial air like heaters or in the summertime air conditioning. Hydration is especially important in order to really avoid like any fine lines. It's light enough that you're able to use it with your fingertips and then just do a light drumming motion under the eyes as well. And so I essentially don't really use eye cream. Because of the hydration benefits, I find that the makeup actually sits a lot better when I use an essence as the first step. Those are things that we can do and apply on our external self, on our skin, on our bodies. But I also like to level it up with supplements in order to help the health from within. So gut health is something that's very heavily promoted these days, and I've been learning a lot since I've met my husband about different probiotics and what I can do to increase the gut flora or the healthy gut. And I'm still learning every day as I go. But me personally, there's a lot of easy ways that we can incorporate probiotics. For example, I take capsules every morning, and this is a Cytomatrix product. I've spoken to my naturopathic doctor, who's not my husband, but he recommended a good one based on the concerns that I have, as well as some symptoms that I may have at the time. So sometimes it takes a little bit of trial and error, but finding the right one, and there's so many different strains, that's really important. For me, my well-being is a combination of the supplements that I take to really get my skin looking its best, because it really does show up on the surface. Another easy way is to have yogurt. This one is more of a treat. I actually finished this one today, but it's one that has vanilla flavor into it. There's no sugar, there's a little bit of honey to it, so it adds that extra vanilla creaminess. Again, just top it with some healthy nuts like walnuts, and it's a very delicious treat. I think it really satisfies me, and it's an easy way to get probiotics in. But the probiotics that you get from yogurt is actually different from the probiotics that you would get from like a supplement. So really, if you are interested in further promoting the gut health for yourself and your family, it's really best to talk to someone like a naturopath to find the right one for you. Next, I wanted to take you to my kitchen to show you the different types of kimchi. Being Korean and raised in a pretty traditional Korean family, I've been eating kimchi since for as long as I can remember. When I was young and I couldn't tolerate the spice, my mom used to dip the kimchi in a bit of cold water to rinse out the chilies. But now I really enjoyed the whole experience of it, making it, eating it, and sharing it with friends. It's such a versatile dish that once you get introduced to it, it may be a little different at first, but it's a good way to incorporate some fermented foods into your diet. Here's the collection of kimchi that I currently have in my kitchen. It's winter time right now, so we have a few of the seasonal items, and I will explain each of these kimchis because you may not have seen a lot of these or all of these in a restaurant. My family likes to make our own kimchi so that we could alter the tastes and the level of spiciness to our liking. This one here is the main staple, and this is pechu kimchi. It's made with whole napa and cutting it in half or in quarters, and then adding the ingredients in between each of the layers. The layers are then folded and put in the refrigerator or outside if you have the proper storage containers, and fermented for as long as you like, depending on the tastes and preferences. This one is really fresh. It was just made about 2 months ago, so it tastes pretty much like a crispy, crunchy salad with the level of spice. The next one is this one here, and it's the radish kimchi. It's called gakdugi. It's made taking the whole radish, slicing it into cubes, and then adding the same kind of spicy ingredients as this one. So these two are pretty similar in the ingredients that go into it, but this one is just the whole radish. I like to have this with hot and spicy type of broths or noodle soups. I find that the crunchiness really complements it well. This one is also a pechu kimchi, but it has been fermented for a couple of seasons now. It was made about a year ago, and so when it's kept in the fridge, it turns a little bit acidic. It also has a bit of a sour taste as well. The reason for the fermentation is that the ingredients allow the napa to be preserved, and the taste of it is quite pungent. So people who are trying kimchi for the first time, it may be a little bit difficult to start with this one. I actually recommend that you start with the fresh kimchi because that's a lot more palatable and easy for you to take initially. Kimchi is very high in natural probiotics, so not only is it good for your gut health, but it's also great for an immune boost. The ingredients, which include garlic and ginger, when they are fermented, it adds to the sour taste. It's also a great ingredient for cooking just because the level of ripeness is at its peak, because one that's a year old is actually not that fermented. People can ferment it for even longer. When kimchi is cooked and exposed to heat, some of the probiotics naturally just dissolve, and so it's believed that it's best to just have it in its current state. But when you make a stew with it, or dumplings or kimchi pancakes, the flavor really comes out, so it's something that I really enjoy just for the delicious taste of it. Sorry, my mouth is actually watering right now. And then the last kimchi here is the seasonal one. It's tend to be made in the wintertime, and it's not too fermented. It has radishes, but you can also add napa. And my mom, she adds dates and spring onions. The dish itself is not spicy, there's no chili in it. The cold broth, sometimes it's turned into ice, and it provides a really refreshing side dish. Sometimes when you have greasy meats or fatty like pork belly or chicken, it tends to cut the grease a bit. So it's a kimchi that's quite different. You probably won't see at a restaurant. I certainly don't eat all these kimchis in one meal. I like to rotate depending on the dishes that I'm having and what complements the flavor, just because a lot of these have distinct tastes. So I hope that this has provided some introduction to those who have not tried kimchi yet. I really recommend that you start with a fresh version and then you try the other variations. It not only promotes great gut health, but it also helps you during the times when your immune system is a bit lower. An acquired taste, but it's very delicious and great for the skin. I hope that gave you a good introduction of fermented ingredients, both in foods and in skincare. And for me, I've remained so loyal to it because I've seen really great results in using skincare products that contain fermented ingredients. Thank you very much, and take care.